Well, it looks like we might be hitting peak season for the fall colors. The chisel wasn't as effective as I had hoped. It's really loud and ringing my ears, so I'm having a hard time going at it for very long. So I'm gonna call this rock the undefeated rock for now. Just hurting my ears too much. I didn't think about how loud that would be hitting that compared to hitting the rock itself. But we still have this big one, and my brief experience here with the smaller one is not giving me much hope in terms of what can be accomplished with this method. In case I didn't show it, this is the chisel I bought. It's a ballpoint chisel, and it's supposed to be good for breaking up concrete. I mean, it's working. It's putting like little dents in the rock, and like the more I hit it, the deeper it goes, but it just takes a while, and that rock seems to be far more solid than the other ones that I've dealt with so far. So maybe even though this one's bigger, it won't be quite as solid. It's got like some area there that I've already like just hit with the hammer and it's breaking off, but they pretty much all have that, so it depends on how much of the rock is made of like that kind of flaky material. Well, as you might have guessed, that didn't work out the best. I didn't try it for too long, but long enough to get sick of it. It was worth a try, but I think for one, this sledgehammer isn't heavy enough, and the rock is just too hard. So if I continue this endeavor to try and get rid of this rock, I'm probably going to need some kind of power tool. This project is to be continued, and for now we're working on fleshing this trench out because it's supposed to rain tomorrow, and if not tomorrow, next week, and I didn't want water pooling into that area, so I'm trying to go ahead and level out this walkway we have here as it goes downhill over there, so that we don't just get a bunch of water pooling up and maybe risking it breaking through on the other side. I guess it was worth the money, because not only are we breaking the rocks up, but it's turning them into these little sheets, or at least for this one. We'll have to see if that's a consistent effect, but this could easily make like stepping stones for a walkway or anything that needs to be more or less flat. So here's where we're at. This is the hole. We dug the trench around, and then we kind of had a little brainstorming session about what to do. So instead of spending all day making this as wide as the path, I just dug this little narrow trench out that I can like barely get my foot into. Come down, and we stopped here. I don't want it to run, like if it rains a lot, I don't want a whole bunch of runoff coming from here, but I do have like a ton of this brush that I put here, so I'm hoping that'll act as somewhat of a silt fence or whatever. But a lot of the loose dirt we've tried to get out of here, so hopefully it'll be okay. And what we've been doing is actually we came back to this end, and we're deciding to see about just working a bit more directly, since that rock is kind of proving to be an issue. And whoa, I'm digging this hole here. I don't know if it really shows how deep it is. Ugh. So we've just been trying to excavate this area. I'll try to like get the camera down. It's about, I don't know, 1.5 feet, 2 feet from the level we started at. So that's what we're doing at the moment. We're just digging out this initial location and going from there. So today we're probably going to be doing something a little bit different. We may be doing some more digging and stuff, but we have this area that I've been showing, of course, where we're dumping the dirt. And yesterday when we were brainstorming, we were thinking about where to put the house. I'm not going to show it right now because we're not quite sure, but regardless of whether we put it where we think or somewhere else, since we're putting all this dirt here, I had the idea to see if we could maybe put a retaining wall here and actually keep the dirt and maybe even some of the rocks as a foundation, so that we're not just moving dirt to get it out of the way, but we'll also be using it where it's going. So today what I want to do is make some measurements and try to figure out what a theoretical retaining wall would be, like where it would be and how tall and stuff. We're gonna just measure and see what we can come up with, and maybe do that so that it makes us a little bit more productive in what we're doing here. Based on the measurements that I got, I'm kind of looking at that 3 to 4 feet tall wall. Something we'll keep in mind. I got to look into it. I got to make a phone call to the planner guy or whatever and ask about that stuff, like what's okay and what isn't. But it seems doable. So we didn't really get a whole lot done today, but I dug this area out a little bit more from what we had yesterday and tried to get as much sediment control as I could manage. So I've got this little area down here. Since this is all pretty much going downhill, I determined that I would like to try and make it so the water runs in a certain way, just like what we did in the other part yesterday. And I added like some rocks and stuff to try and help catch anything. I don't really think we have enough loose dirt here to be that problematic, and we have the silt fence for whatever it's worth, if anything. But hopefully we got it all good enough. Maybe I'll have be able to come out tomorrow and do a little bit more. But I'm just trying to get it set up so when it rains this week, it's supposed to rain anyway, but it's not going to be too catastrophic, I hope. That's the intention anyway. Hopefully I'm not making anything worse. So we've been talking about the dig project here and trying to figure out how to move forward, you know, and it's quite the challenge. Like, again, even after all this, I don't really mind the digging. It's the displacement of the dirt. Trying to figure out what to do with the dirt. And I don't really think there's likely a way for us to get around it without paying money. And that's either paying money to somehow get the dirt moved, or to be able to move it ourselves, to get it like off of property, or paying someone to just dig out the driveway and take the dirt with them. So that's kind of the decision we're having to make now, and I really hate the idea of paying a bunch of money, because I'm really interested in saving money and giving up the satisfaction of doing this like 100% myself, or at least whatever the highest percentage of doing myself is. But the thing is, like, the more we go, the deeper we get, the more dirt we move, it's becoming very difficult to determine what the best way to deal with the dirt is, and it may just be such that due to the nature of the land, due to the fact we don't have anywhere to put the dirt, you know, there's just not much you can do other than pay someone to do it. So that may be what we're looking at. I don't know. I'm still interested currently in the retaining wall idea, so we may treat our dig here as at least contributing to that project. But as far as like the driveway goes, it's yet to be seen. Like things are getting a bit skeptical. Like I'm getting skeptical. I have no issue really with the digging part. It's just where to put the dirt. And it's kind of sucky that that's gonna be like the determining factor as to how we go about this, but that's the reality. Like as it is, it kind of feels like I'm fighting reality and like being in denial or something about it, so I don't want to keep pushing forward in a way that's going to cause problems or anything for the sake of ego or whatever. So yeah, we're going to do what we can do, and you know, if we have to put out the money to have the driveway made for us or whatever, then you know, it is what it is, and hopefully it would be affordable. Well, it's been a few days since we've been here, and it rained quite a lot, especially last night. We had some pretty heavy rain, so let's go see if our efforts to secure the soil paid off. Not a whole lot of dirt down here, so I'm hoping that there's positive news up there. Coming up to the moment of truth. Dun dun dun. Looks like it's all still here. You can see, maybe if you can see that. Oh god, my lens is dirty. Silt fence is all sooted up from the splashing of the rain. But so far, it's all looking good. Everything's pretty much the way we left it, just wet. You can see, I don't know, it kind of looks like maybe the way the leaves are here, there may have been some water running off here. I mean, it would make sense. My little trench is full of leaves, so at least it acted as something, even if it was just a leaf catcher. Here we are. There's my rock. Oh, it actually like cleaned it off. You can see all my little chisel marks. It washed all the dirt away. So you can see my futile attempt. I'm not sure how it would go. I want this to dry out, of course, but I might be able to come back out here tomorrow and get back to work. Alright, so we're out here for another day, and we're going to be tackling this rock again. As you might can hear, we're doing some work over there with a little excavator. Wonder if they'd come over and do some work for me. For free. So if you saw my little unboxing video, these are the tools that I got. And then I went and got this bit here. It was about $12 for this one bit. And it says it's good for, let's see if I can get it in the light, concrete and block and stuff. So I'm hoping it'll be good for this. They actually had another one that said it was just like, it was for all this like plus stone, like granite and stuff, but that's the one I was gonna get. But it was $20 or $22, and it was really short, and I just didn't know if it would be able to penetrate enough, so I got this one because it was longer and cheaper. So I don't know how it's gonna go. I honestly don't have high hopes, but we'll put it together and see what we can do. Going through it easier than I expected. So I've drilled a number of holes here along this line and tried chiseling them to no avail. So I've continued drilling just a bunch of holes just to try and weaken the rock. There was a method I read about online that I was hoping this could potentially lead to, but I don't know because the holes are pretty small. But supposedly, you know, if you have a rock and you drill holes in it, you could fill them up with water on a night that it's going to freeze. And then as the water expands, becoming ice, it can crack the rock. So, see if we can turn this into a cracked rock one way or another. Another thing I noticed after drilling for a while is there's this wet looking stuff on around the base of the chuck there, and I have been wetting this. As far as I understand, that's a good practice when you're drilling through rock or concrete, but I am concerned that it was overworking it. I saw some like stress test videos where they did way worse than this and it was fine, but that doesn't mean, you know, this particular production couldn't have some issues. But I'm thinking it's oil. I'll have to look into that to see if that's a really bad sign or if it's just, you know, something you have to live with. I don't know. Well, I'm not sure it's showing any signs of budging right now. I just did a little bit more chiseling, not much at all. But I think I'm gonna leave it be for now. The drill is leaking fluids or something, and it feels really hot, so I'm just gonna leave it be for now and move on to a different project. Hoping it's enough where I can kind of pull it over. Just waiting on this rope to snap. It's getting there. I was waiting on this rope to snap. Unbelievable, man. What I need is when I do that, you pull the slack. Well, this is what we're working with. It came off of the stump, but then it just planted itself down here in the ground. I've tried to dig it out, but it just doesn't want to move. And I don't know why, other than friction on the limbs up there holding it or something like that. But we're trying to get it sorted out. So as you can see, the tree is still standing. I did get it cut and pulled off, but it basically just fell down here and planted itself. We pulled and pulled and shook and did everything we could and could not get it to fall because I think these limbs are holding it up. As you can see here, I even tried to dig out the ground to try to get some extra leverage on it and persuade it to go certain ways and all that stuff, and nothing worked. That was the rest of our day. We literally spent 3 hours fighting with this tree, got nothing else done, didn't make any progress on the tree really. So I didn't want to do it, but it seemed to be holding itself up pretty well, and we tethered the line. I actually got the line down from up there where I originally had it, and we put it up around that limb. Put it up there trying to get leverage on what was holding it. Still didn't work. So I just took the line and tethered it to this big oak tree here, and we just left it overnight. And I went and got this limb saw here. Spent $40 on that, and if it works well enough, maybe I'll try to keep it. But it's got a fiberglass handle, and it left little fiberglass shards all in my hands when I picked it up at the store, so I really don't like that about it. But yeah, yesterday was Friday the 13th, and it wasn't horrible, but it kind of lived up to its name. Like, yesterday was a total bust. Didn't really get anywhere with the rock. Tried to cut down a tree just to use the tree for a little project I'm trying to do to make this go easier. That took all day, didn't work. Had to go spend money. Got fiberglass in my hands, like it was just, and then I fell down right here. I don't know if you remember, but there's this tree here that fell down that I was using as like a barrier for leaves. I was standing here and it gave way and I fell down. And then around this area I ended up falling about 3 or 4 times total yesterday, trying to work up here. My boots like clogged up with clay, so they weren't getting any traction, and I was just slipping and sliding everywhere and falling, and it was not a good day. It's one of those days that makes you like question what you're doing. But hopefully this limb saw will work and we'll get this limb cut and be able to go from there.
You want to be better at this too. Here.
Ah, finally. Tired? That's how you cut down a tree in 7 hours. Oh man.
Was it easy?
Huh?
Was that easy?
It's so easy. To get all that counterweight off of it. Those 2 limbs were just holding her down really bad.
It's done.
Well, I didn't expect to need this so soon, but since I don't have a chainsaw currently, I figured we'd take it for a test run and see how it does against this stuff. So we'll start with some small stuff first and see how it goes. Very good. Got pinched. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, it's collapsing in and pinching it.
Pinching what?
The blade. Again? Alright, so I'll probably leave that as it is right now. This saw is definitely not what you want to be using for this. So I got one more limb I got to cut over there from the two that we cut down. And we'll call it a day on this tree stuff, I guess. So both limbs are down, cut up, the tree is down. We finally did it. And I'm on the phone. The last several clips have been from the phone because the camera won't record for a duration anymore. So I don't know, the SD card's full or it's just malfunctioning, I don't know. So see if I can get that dealt with before we come back out. But we're on our way. I had an idea for what I wanted to use this tree for. Obviously I picked the wrong tree. So that set us back a little bit, but hopefully one of the limbs, probably, that biggest one we first cut down, will suffice for what I need it for. And that's another little project that's going to go towards the digging adventure. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, this way?
You gotta restart the recording.